Um, I guess it's saving. Okay, it's going. Presented by Sega.
Sega. So hello.
Hi there.
Are you a fan of Diablo?
Um,
Like the game, not the
am I a fan of the
devil.
devil? I never played Diablo. I don't think. Nope, never. What about you?
No, it's not my cup of tea either. But
Yeah.
there was some big news I feel that we have to talk about.
Yes.
Talk about current events.
Sure.
So if I get anything a little bit wrong, I think I got the gist of it. Diablo, the series, is supposed to come out with a new one. I believe the fourth one. It's been a long wait. People have been really anxious for this game to be announced or to come out or what have you.
Yep.
But at E93, the recent probably
BlizzCon.
BlizzCon. Yeah. So BlizzCon, there was an announcement, and it was for Diablo Mobile, and I think it was called Diablo Infinity or something. People were very upset at the conference. They were questioned by some of the fans, and one person in particular, wearing a red shirt. I don't know why it's relevant, but everyone needs to bring it up. He made a comment saying, is this a joke? Is this maybe a fool's joke? We were expecting this as a game. What is this? And after a short kind of back and forth, the developer said something along the lines of, "Don't you have a phone?" And it's become a bit of a meme, and that's what's going on in the gaming world currently. But it is a little bit of a conversation that you and I should have about mobile gaming.
Great. Sure.
What would you say your relationship with mobile gaming is? Do you have any go-tos on your phone, or what?
I rarely ever. Well, okay. Right now, I've been playing Animal Crossing Pocket Camp like it's my life, like it's my job. Like, that's what I do at work.
Right.
But normally, I don't play games on mobile devices. I really don't like that. So, no, I don't
Yeah.
really have a good relationship with mobile gaming. I have a tablet, I have an Amazon Kindle thingy, and I have games on it, but it's to entertain my nephew when I'm like visiting. So I don't really play games on there either. Like, I don't, yeah, I'm not really
Yeah.
into mobile gaming. How about you?
And um, I'm very inclusive when it comes to gamer. If that's the way you game, then you're a gamer, and that's
Yeah.
fine.
Oh, I
That's your
agree. I totally
experience.
agree.
That's what you do. But for me, as a trophy hunter and an achievement hunter,
Yeah.
and as somebody who likes to use gaming as something to disassociate in a bigger way
Yeah.
from the stresses of life, I like to go to an experience on a console or even a PC occasionally.
Right.
So mobile gaming doesn't drive me. So I don't really know anything about that world. I've dabbled in it a tiny bit. Everyone played a few minutes of Candy Crush and Pokemon Go, or the other
Sure.
things that everyone did. But I can totally understand the frustration of expecting a game on a console, like a big experience, and then being
Yeah.
given this other thing, and the fear that these larger experiences are going to go away in favor of mobile experiences because they're cheaper to make, I would assume, and also they're more likely to achieve microtransactions in a larger experience. So I think that tone deafness from the studio is frustrating, and it's nice to see a pushback against that, to be like, you are known for this experience, and you need to not just jump into something else for money and abandon your fan base.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure the thing that was asked was, are there any plans for this to come out like, on a
Right.
PC or whatever? And they were like, well, don't you have a
Right.
phone? It's like, well, yeah, but that's not the point. Like, the
Right.
point is this is not the game we wanted.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that combination of PR speak and also I think being trapped in the bubble of development really caused a shitty reaction to that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the other thing that I want to talk to you before we jump into what looks like an interesting game is PlayStation Plus. PlayStation Plus.
Plush.
PlayStation Plus.
Plushy.
Uh, users can still redeem the PS Plus Blue Shift pack for H1Z1 Battle Royale until November 13th. This pack includes the blue AR-15, the blue off-roader vehicle, and the Pro Gamer hoodie for your character. I don't know what any of those things mean, hey, if you play H1Z1 Battle Royale, which some people do, and go out and get that with PS Plus person. I'll be able to pronounce that by the end of the show.
The only words in that sentence I understood were PlayStation and plush. So,
one of them wasn't even part of what we were trying to say.
No, but I understood it.
Previously, we were discussing one topic. Now we will be discussing another. This is known as a transition. I'm Tony, also known as Paradox. I'm always joined by my co-host.
Hello, I am Lauren, and I am also known as Plastic Soapbox. And here they're being made open world Japanese crime syndicate gamers. And tonight, we're trying to get one trophy in Yakuza. I can't even talk. Yakuza Kiwami. Welcome to our live Twitch viewers and everyone else watching on YouTube to 2 Gamers, 1 Trophy.
Yakuza. I love it. Yakuza Kiwami is a AAA title made available to all PS Plus owners for this November's free titles. A remake of Yakuza, the first game in the Yakuza series, it is intended to be a teaser to entice players to check out the remake to the second Yakuza game, Yakuza Kiwami 2, which released back in August of this year on PS4.
Okay, so did this game came out, this remake, I assume, originally came out prior to the remake of 2, and now they're releasing it here to just tease you and say, hey, remember this other game that we just came out with? Here's the first version for free. Got it. So today will be the first time I'm actually hands-on with this game. I'll give you my live first impression. What can you expect from the gameplay? Will this title be worth downloading? Stay tuned to find out. Meanwhile, Tony will be here with all the factoids and trivia, as well as being a resource to help you reach this episode's trophy challenge.
We here at 2 Gamers, 1 Trophy don't just review all the free PS Plus titles each month. We like to add a little extra trophy challenge to our gameplay. Tonight we'll be doing a challenge we like to call a target trophy, which means I'm challenging Lauren to get one specific trophy. Things will never be the same, achieved for completing Chapter 1. This bronze trophy, with a trophy hunter collection rate of 88.11%, according to PSNprofiles.com, is considered to be a common trophy. Once we get it, we have to be careful not to get an additional trophy before closing down the episode.
We invite all of our live viewers to join in the Twitch chat with us talking with you. Let us know if you're playing along or tell us your impressions of the game. And for those joining later on YouTube, give us some internet cred, like, subscribe, and comment on our stuff. No more delay. We start the gameplay now.
So we have been cycling through a bit of a teaser for the game.
Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna do our ritual of turning down the sound.
Yeah.
If I can even do that.
You know, the fact that we had that intro sort of cinematic, very old school for a PlayStation and PlayStation 2 era to have this kind of screensaver almost of the game as sort of the cinematic movies. And we don't see that in modern gaming very much, and I think the reason behind that is because plot has become much more of an important element for gamers in the modern era of gaming, that we see less of a focus on spoiling, potentially, story, and more of a thematic intro instead of just outright, here's the story. So it's a nice kind of callback that they kept that, even though, you know, everything is being remastered, and there's certainly no reason they had to keep that.
Sure. Yeah, I liked it, actually.
So 1995, you know, was a different time. Dinosaurs ruled the earth.
Yes.
Pre-cell phone, AOL, all those things are true.
I couldn't find any volume settings, so I'm sorry if you're having trouble hearing us over the game.
We don't often play the sound because we want to ensure that people can hear our voices, but this game is the soundtrack is really good in my opinion, and it's interesting to be able to hear all the Japanese voice acting. I really feel that it adds a certain level of how do I say, not an officialness, but almost like a credibility to the game.
Okay. Right.
So a lot of this game is going to be cutscenes. It's going to be explanatory dialogue. So I'll do my best to leave a lot of it so viewers can hear it in case you don't have that history. But I do want to throw out a couple of facts real quick. There's not a lot of dialogue here in this cutscene. This game was developed by Sega and Ryoga Gotoku Studios. They've only done the Yakuza series.
Okay.
It was also published by Sega and Deep Silver. They did Shenmue 3 and Saints Row after the THQ bankruptcy that got rid of that property. Released January 21st, 2016 on the PS3 in Japan, and then later January 21st the following year, 2017 released January 21st, 2016 on the PS3 and PS4 in Japan, and August 29th, 2017 worldwide on the PS4. There are also plans to release this game on Microsoft Windows. And finally, it is rated M by the ESRB rating board.
So if you're a youngin', turn your eyes away at the rough part.
Go away. Shield your innocence.
すみません、本当。こんな取り立てに出張ってもらうなんて。気にするなって言ったろ、新人。
Now that all the children are gone, taxes, am I right, adults? That's all it is. When you get old, it's the only thing you get added is just taxes.
Yeah.
No more violence, no more sex. It's honestly just financing.
It's just the facts of life.
You being introduced to all of our main players, or at least some of them. The tiniest complaint, I don't think there was enough time spent on those title cards.
Oh yeah, you don't.
I didn't get a chance to really, when I was doing my playthrough, I was like, wait, who is this? Who is in charge of? What group? And you get thrown a lot of names and a lot of associations to where in the Yakuza all these players stand, and it took me a little bit of time.
Okay.
Maybe I just a big dum dum. Maybe for you it's no problem, but for me I had a hard time.
I mean, you know me, when we play I don't pay attention to any of this stuff, so probably, yeah, it'll be hard for me to figure out what's what.
You have a hard job. You can play, retain, and talk about it.
Yeah.
We're in the tutorial here, we're also getting some backstory, but honestly I think we're fine talking over this. We're really just following him, there's not much that you need to know, and I'll fill you in if there's anything that we're missing. Mechanically right now, you're being introduced to, the game is intending you to fool around with the camera, to fool around with button prompts, to talk to him. We're very basic. This is the open world exploration that it's kind of hinting at here. We'll get combat tutorials later. We'll see that through this playthrough. This is more about showcasing what the world is like. This is the first Yakuza game. This is the remake, but the game design is the same from the original. So this is introducing, hey, this is a modern open world game. Very busy streets of Japan. First yawn, 13 minutes in. That's pretty good. It's gotta be a record.
Dude, that's like the third time I've yawned.
The original Yakuza was released on a PS2 back in 2005 in Japan and 2006 worldwide. The original Yakuza was intended to be a much more mainstream Western success. In fact, the game was done with English voice actors as well, the only game in the Yakuza series to do so. We don't have those English voice acting in the remake that was abandoned, and there's several reasons for it. But one of the more notable voice actors was Mark Hamill. He played one of the roles in the English version.
Interesting.
If you had had any other Yakuza game on your system, you would have been able to get a free Dragon God amulet the moment you began the game as sort of a thank you for playing other games. You didn't, and I didn't, so we didn't get it. And additionally, if you've already fallen in love with Yakuza and you can't get enough, well then also get the free Yakuza Share Factory theme available for PS4 for free, and a wallpaper theme for $1.99.
Cool. That's something we should talk about on here when it happens, as it happens, like the sales.
Yeah.
The PlayStation Plus sales. Because I was looking through them.
Yeah, that's a great content. I'll definitely keep that in track because, you know, sometimes you get a lot of really good stuff, and especially as a PS Plus owner, you typically get added discounts on top. So.
Yeah, like right now, the Assassin's Creed, the Ezio collection, which is two Brotherhood and Revelations, which are the three best Assassin's Creed games. It's only like $17 for PlayStation Plus members, and normally it's like crazy. It's like $40.
Are you suggesting that Ezio is better than Connor?
Is Connor from 3?
Connor is the fourth game, I believe. It was the one that was all American.
No, that's 3. 4 is Pirates.
Is it 3? Okay.
I never played 3. I mean, I did a little bit, but I didn't like it.
I was gonna say that can't be true. You let me borrow 3.
I'm pretty sure my roommate owned 3, and she took that. We had them for the Xbox. The first one that I had for the PlayStation 4 was Black Flags, which is the fourth one.
Yeah.
Or I had it for my... Yeah.
3 and Connor are not one of those. Ezio is definitely.
Oh yeah, he's like the man.
So you're in combat tutorial now. You're fighting the sniveling glowing shark. There's a lot of Japanese stereotypes to contend with. It's something that I don't feel comfortable doing a lot of commentary on because one, I'm not Japanese, I'm not deep in my culture. I certainly am not sure of what is just stereotype and what is commentary, you know. So there are certainly tropes that I've seen in anime, tropes that I've seen in Japanese live action that I see here, and that's all I really can say about that. Things that I've noticed before seem to pop up here. And you know, this is PS2 era, so to say that this would be the most progressive game probably is not. And I've also noticed in playing a wide breadth of games that sometimes these Japanese games that have been just sort of directly ported to the English market tend to not be as sensitive to certain cultural progressive ideals as other games. And even looking at Persona 5, things like that, you know, there was a lot of pushback on things about, you know, the way homosexuals were represented, the way masculinity was represented, that, you know, not as, I guess, up to standards. I know there's one scene that I'll bring it up again later on. This game was nominated for Game Classic Revival at the National Academy of Video Game Trade Reviewer Awards, and the remake, which is what we're playing now, did improve the following items: resolution, frame rate, textures, loading time, and additional content was added to the game in order to clear up some confusing plot points from the original, as well as tie the story more closely to the prequel, Yakuza 0, which had come out the previous year.
約束の額だ。悪く思うな。
I got a trophy.
I did. That's it. We're done. Everyone shut it down. 19 minutes in. Oh no. Wait. Not one and done.
No.
Sometimes I like to just do get a trophy and we're done. Unfortunately, the tutorial here was so quick in the beginning that was not going to be an option. You did get a trophy for getting the money back, which is a story-based trophy. And the one that I challenged you to get is also a story-based trophy, but just a little bit further down the line.
Cool. Alright, let's keep going then.
we talk a lot about trophies. We talk a lot about, which ones are good and which ones are bad, and I actually don't have a trophy yay and a trophy nay for this game. I didn't find any trophy to be particularly stand out, so for the first time we're going to ignore that segment. But I do want to talk about some trophy tropes, and one of which is story-based trophies. That's when you progress in the game's main storyline, and the game rewards your progress by just throwing a trophy out there. Typically, it's a hidden trophy on the PlayStation list because it tends to include spoilers about getting money or completing a chapter or what have you. I think it's interesting they gave you a trophy so quickly here, to the point that I feel like I don't have a grasp on anything yet, and I've been given the trophy. And the only time that I found that to be enjoyable was in Deadpool, and that was done as a joke. I mean, that was commentary on how quickly they give you a trophy. In fact, they give you two right the first time you push a button. I don't know. It's not something, and it's not trophy nay because I'm not upset or anything. It's just interesting they decided to just sort of throw it out there. Like you turned on the game and you started the story, the very basics, so here's a reward for that. Okay. I mean, that's cool. Each battle has sort of its own, introducing who the battle is, and you start. It has this kind of, arcade, fighting arcade feel to it.
Yeah, it feels very like a fighting game.
Yeah. In, what is otherwise like an open world, RPG type game. I think part of that makes the Yakuza series really unique, in that these are certainly elements that future games followed. And we haven't talked about whether you've played any Yakuza game before, but it's similar.
No, I haven't. I haven't played any of these games before.
Yeah. But it's certainly not something that I can attribute to any other game series, is this sort of blend of a fighting game, an RPG, an open world game, and something that's ultra realistic. It's set in our modern day times. And the game also has some camp to it. It's an interesting combination of things that I feel makes the game very engaging because you want to know where it's going next.
Okay.
But the mechanics of the combat that you're experiencing now, there are more things to be added onto it. Fighting styles, sort of that gauge that goes up right there, the heat gauge is another element that's added. So it's not completely stagnant, but at a point I do feel like there's not a lot of variation here, except for maybe trial and error, where I can try different fighting modes and see how that plays with different guys. It doesn't feel as fluid as, say, Rocksteady's Batman. Things where you felt like you had the ability to do different things. It feels more like a puzzle. What's the best way to not monsters. As a kid, I had that problem. As a young kid, I would always call anyone who was, coded an antagonist as a monster. That's funny to do. We see where the game is mature. A lot of really kind of gory finishing scenes, which I think is another element that comes from arcade fighting.
Yeah. I like the I'm on fire mode. Cool.
Yeah.
見とったでキリュウちゃん兄貴キリュウってそうや堂島の竜
This character is a character that was voice acted by Mark Hamill. Because you haven't adjusted the sound, you can kind of compare that to a Japanese voice actor. It's interesting.
Yeah, I only have the volume on my TV on the minimal. But yeah, he's definitely Hamill type.
Like a joke cast.
Yeah.
Normally I would talk a little bit about the directors and the producers and programmers, but most of them have only worked in the Japanese market. Yakuza is the largest games that they've worked on, so to be honest, it's not interesting to us as a Western audience.
Sure.
I feel bad because we're not really going to experience anything else that they've worked on. It's interesting to have games that are ports like this. And I play a lot of Japanese RPGs, so I think my familiarity is a little bit better than yours. I don't mean to completely presume.
No, yeah, that's probably true.
It's interesting because you can tell the nuances in a game that's developed for your audience.
十分ですから。ほう。ま、ええわ。お前もこう思ったらこれくらい厳しくしつけせなあかんで。言うで。はい。はい。覚えておき
Right.
ます。
So like these games aren't developed for Western audiences, so they have to.
でもないや。
Yeah.
俺は
It's
俺のやり
particularly
方
true of
で
later games. Yakuza did not do well as far as the Western market in the translation of it. It was considered to be kind of a flop.
Oh yeah.
But future games have sold really well because they retained that Japanese.
踊れは俺に喧嘩売っとんのか。やろいっちゃっとるか。
All right. Yeah, I feel like a lot of
兄さんとここで喧嘩をする理由はありません。筋が通らねえ。
a lot of Japanese games are like that, where there's a game for the.
これで俺と喧嘩す
I
る理由
want
は
to say
で
it
き
was
た
for the
な。
GameCube called
俺が
Chibi
兄さんを
Robo,
ムカつかせたんだ。
and
謝ります。
it was this like
なんやと。
really silly, like you played as this small robot who like had a plug and you had to plug it in
根性あんねやったら。
after so many minutes to run out of battery, and the point of the game was to like you lived with this family. You did things like vacuuming up stuff and like just little household chores, and like you went around the house to like do things to make the family happy.
気は済みまし
Because
たか。
something weird was happening in the family, but everything in this game was so Japanesey. So even though like the things that were happening were in English, it was like I didn't understand the game because everything was just like, yeah, duh, of course you're gonna like be a small robot and like clean up after him. Like I was just like, I don't understand the dynamics of a Japanese family enough to understand what's even happening here. Like
Yeah.
it's like, so even though there are nuances that you just, despite even if the
筋
translation
通
is
すなんぞ言う
perfect
て。無
or
理し
like
と
you
るだ
know
けやねんか。
made very English
痩せ我
American
慢っちゅう
Englishy,
やつや。
you still can completely
世の
misunderstand
中
or
筋の
misinterpret
通
the
らん
game
こと
because you
ば
just
っ
don't
か
get it.
りや。
Yeah.
そん
And
な意
it
地張
has
っ
to
と
do
った
also
ら
with visual puns
体が持たん。
Sure.
or translations of puns or jokes that
Yeah.
while they may have translated the gist of the joke, culturally it
俺は
doesn't
自
make
分の
sense.
考えを
It doesn't,
変
yeah,
えるつ
That
もり
was
はあ
a
りません。
weird. I don't get that.
Or like idioms that we just don't know. Like
Yeah.
yeah.
I played a lot of the Final Fantasy series over the years, and Final
Mm-hmm.
Fantasy 15, the newest one, I sunk a lot of hours into that. Certainly not at the end, but the thing that I've noticed is that not Japanese translation sort of problem, but they've tried to keep the tone of what it was in Japanese into English, and it feels like it's not how human beings act. That's the effect of trying to translate it. These guys are interacting with each other, and they're joking around with each other, and I'm like, it's not even that it's cheesy. It's like not quite human, and it's not just, I'm sure in Japanese it's complete sense. Probably maybe it is cheesy, or maybe it's something, but at least it makes sense.
Yeah.
For us, it feels more like, well, yeah, I guess humans do that, but it's somehow it's this kind of uncanny valley thing going on.
Yeah. I find stuff like that interesting. It's like puns and stuff, and just things like animal noises in other languages are like fascinating to me. Like,
もう
you
大丈夫
can
なんか。
translate them, but they don't mean anything.
いつも真島の兄貴に鍛えられてますから。
It's interesting, and a big part of this game, and I don't mean to spoil too much, but a lot of what which motivates your character is a woman that gets fridged, and it's done in a way that it's not. It's kind of off-putting in the way that they do this. But I think part of that is not only is the game a bit older, at least the story was, but also it just feels like culturally there's a big difference in gender dynamics, and it's almost like it's kind of extreme, and you feel a little like, okay, I guess I just have to go with this for this to make sense.
Yeah, yeah. That's interesting. I assume you mean
まだ
like
決まったわけじゃない
this woman character.
組
is
長が
her?
決めることだ
組長も嫌とは言えねえよ。風間の親父がもうその気なんだ。堂島組はあの人で持ってるようなもんだからな。
You distinctly get the sense that, while this game is about the Yakuza, and of course it would make sense for a woman to be like in charge of a Yakuza family, you don't get the female perspective like at all.
Hmm.
またおめえに先越されちまったか。
なあ錦お前妹はどうなんだ
This is set in 1995, right?
もう一度手術だ。
Yes, this portion of the game.
次で最後になる。
By the time we're done, you should have played 10 years
体が
worth
持
of
た
this
ない
game.
そうだ。これでダメならもう。
Time jump.
そうか
Sure, sure.
あ、来てたの
As
ね。
long as I don't have to play the game for
ちょっ
10 years.
と、もう酔っ
It's
て
a
るの？
marathoner. Here we
私も
go.
入れなさい。
どうぞご遠慮なく
You know, while they remastered everything, little things like her design, this character, I feel like not enough time was spent on her. In particular, her hands feel like. Pay attention to the hands. All the hands feel like not attached to their
ごめんね。
bodies.
気持ちだけもらっとく。
Her hands looked
こ
giant.
りゃユミちゃんに振られちゃったかな。
Thank you, they really did. Like too close to the camera or something.
Like, they're just disproportionate to her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
ごめんね。
Also, I was confused at these
俺ら
cutscenes,
だって
and maybe
お
you're
客
about
さ
to
ん
bring
だ
this
ぞ
up because they're wearing the exact same thing they were wearing.
Right. This was a few months ago, but everyone is
ごめ
wearing
んごめん。
the exact
最
same
近よく
items.
来てくれるお客さんなの。
Now,
いつものでいい？
these time cuts
おう
that you're telling me about, this 10 years of gameplay that I'm going to experience, is it 10 years backwards?
They're 10 years forwards.
例のしのぎ
We just keep going backwards. It
うまく
started
い
off
きそうか？
on October 1,
え
and then I was
Yeah.
playing on September 30th, and now we're a few months ago.
Yeah.
イカ様やって
Which is
硬いから
also
金を
weird
むしる
because
のは
they took the effort to say, this is the date, this is the time.
Yeah.
Here's another date, here's another time. Now we're a few months ago. Why wouldn't you just give me the month and time?
Right.
ここで
Just
ドーン
make
と
up
稼げば
a,
間
it's
違いなし
June.
だ
Okay, that's
堂
fine.
島
That I
国
can
一
understand.
天下
A
の
few
登
months
場
ago,
界
I'm
の
just
三次
supposed
団
to
体だ
like
迷
whatever.
ってんじゃねえ
Now,
よ
unfortunately, my knowledge
Alright,
gets a
Joe,
little
shut
limited
it,
in that I did not play the original Yakuza on
今でも
PS2.
十分
And I
Okay.
didn't really do the research as to the actual scenes that were added and detracted from the remake.
射程
I
頭補佐だなん
suspect
て名ばか
that
り
because they're wearing the
邪険
same
にされる
clothes
ことも
and
ねえ
because of
が
a few
か
months
といって
later as
出世の
opposed
本筋で
to,
も
you
ね
know,
え
the
っつ
actual
微
date.
妙な立
This
ち位
may
置
have
だ
been a scene that was added
They added
as an
it.
explanatory,
風間
you
のお
know,
やすさんの後押しでよう
motivation
や
for
く
these
掴んだチャン
characters
ス
if
だ
Okay.
possible.
Okay,
死に
because
物
there were
狂いで
like
ものに
plot
しなかっ
holes
た
or
ら意味
something,
ね
and they
え
just
ぞ
needed more.
このままいったら
Okay.
一生飼い殺しだ
Okay.
Because this character that you're with here, he becomes a
極道で
main
あるから
character,
にゃ
and you know,
やっぱり自分の国
I'm
を
going
持
to
って
spoil a little
こ
bit.
そ
He
だ
becomes the major
That's fine.
antagonist of the game.
Okay.
You'll get nowhere near that. So it's
Alright.
just he becomes the main bad guy, and you can tell by the character design. He looks
Sure.
kind of shady, and you know,
Sure.
and you'll actually see him. You'll see him progress a little bit. But what am I going to say? I feel like probably you needed some more motivation as to why you would not betray him so quickly to give some more kind of friendship and backstory. Would be my guess. Maybe this is all in the original Yakuza. I don't know. I'm a terrible researcher.
It's alright.
そういえばもうそんな時期か
バッカ。お前忘れてたのかよ。
いや最近忙しかったからさ
そういう錦山君は
Hands.
もう
They
何
really
か
are.
用意してるの？
Yeah,
も
they
ち
were
ろん
like ridiculously
弓に似合
big.
いそうなピンクダイヤのネックレス。
まあ、なんだか高そうね。
まあ
It
な。
reminds me of kind of like
何ヶ月
Donkey
も前から
Kong,
予
you
約
know,
してい
with
て
how
やっ
big
と手に入っ
the
たんだ
hands were there, and
実は
GoldenEye and all that
今日
stuff.
渡
Always
そうと思ってちゃんと準備してあるよ。
あら、そうだったの。
Yeah, look at
それじゃあ
they're
パーティ
so
ーしましょうよ。
disproportionate. Her hands are like twice as big as
それ
her
ならいい
face.
ケーキ屋知ってるから俺買ってくるよ
They really
本
are.
当助かるわ。
So
お願いね。
cute. That's
キ
hilarious.
リュウちゃんはどうするの？
Maybe it's meant to be because maybe our hands are closer to us
ま
than
た
her
今
face
度っ
is,
てわ
but
けにはい
like
かねえか
not that
そ
not
んな
that
の
much
ダ
more
メ
close.
よ。
Her hand isn't right in
ま
front
だ
of
間
my,
に合う
my
から
eyeballs.
今すぐ用意したら。
If we're both noticing it, it's a problem.
Yeah.
急に言われてもな
So while she goes on and on about the fact that you need to
ね
Get our
え、
birthday
それ
buy
じゃあ
gifts for
指
this
輪なん
woman,
てどう？
psnprofile.com is the site that I go to for trophy-related research.
いいんじゃねえ
Trophy
の
lists, what
さす
trophies
がレイ
are,
ナ
which ones
無
are
難な
hard
チョイ
to
ス
get, which ones are not. So I do want to say that this game is considered to be a difficult game to get all
そ
of the
れくらい
trophies
自分
for.
で考えろ
That
よ
it does have a
俺は手
platinum
伝わねえから
at
な
2.91%. It's
そう
an
難し
ultra
く
rare
考えなくて
platinum.
も
It's got
気持
2
ちが
gold
こもってれ
trophies,
ば
6
何でもい
silver,
いのよ。
46 bronze for a total of 55 trophies and a total achievement score of 1,230 points. That makes this a very well balanced trophy list with, 1 platinum, 2 gold, 6 silver, we're increasing in a nice curve there. I like that. Also, we have a Japanese trophy list that's completely separate. So if you have another Japanese account on your PlayStation and you love this game, you can play it all over again and get all those trophies all over
フラン
again.
スの有名なブランドの指輪なんてどう？
But I think one of the main
新
reasons
作が
this
出
is
た
so
ばっかりなん
difficult
だ
is
け
that it
ど、
requires
女の子にす
multiple
ごく人
playthroughs
気
to
なの
get
よ。
through the entire trophy list because
こ
you
の
have
前
to
ユミ
complete
ちゃ
it
ん
in
と
a
一
much
緒に
more
雑誌見てたら
difficult
彼女も欲しいって言ってた
setting
わ。
that you unlock once you do one of the other settings.
Okay.
ね
And
それにしてみたら？
other than that, nothing is missable. You can achieve everything, but there's a lot of side
そ
stuff.
れにしよう
The game definitely has you go on a journey, some of it wacky, some of it serious, throughout the entirety of the city. And again, nothing jumped out as a bad trophy. All of it's either story related or collectible related. All of it makes sense for the development team. It's something that's a super huge grind. It's just, it's a big game. There's a lot to do. So there's a lot to do as far as getting trophies.
Sure.
The game also has a nice system, which you're going to see as you begin to talk to some of the residents of the town, that it tracks certain activities, and the game rewards you for sort of completing random things, one of which is talking to 50 different people, 100 different people. There's no real narrative reason to do that. It's just the game is giving you almost these experience points, these completion points, the game calls them. As you collect the completion points, you can sell them, exchange them to this clown character. I don't know any of the clown he is. And you can get bonuses like increased speed or additional abilities, things like that. So, the game not only gives you that, it also gives you your experience points just for combat-related things. So there's a lot to unlock for the first game in the series. They already have a lot of meat here in the gameplay. You're going to have to rely on your mini-map on the bottom left to really indicate places that are accessible. I had the problem, the same problem that you're having, which is I wanted to go down every side street, wanted to enter every building, I wanted to try and do it, and so much of it is blocked off, not just by those sort of red no markers, but honestly, if it's not shaded blue or yellow, you can't go there, so don't even bother.
Okay.
今
good to
非
know.
常に人気でしてこち
I
ら
got
が
some
最後の
pocket tissues by talking to a random person on the street.
かしこまりました
Not sure what those refer to. You get them for talking to random people.
サー
I
ビス
don't
で
know whether that becomes a collectible in the future or you can sell them, but yeah.
Whoa, that's expensive.
And we're buying the ring now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I've had this like crick in my neck basically since Monday, and no matter how I sit, I can't like really get comfortable. And I don't know. I don't know how to get rid of it. Just won't go away. Just thought I'd bring that up because I'm like, I keep shifting around in my feet and I don't want people to be like, what is she doing? Why is she making all this noise?
So to give you an idea, back in '95, 1 yen was about $1 was about 103 yen.
Okay, so the ring.
So
was
simplify it
100.
for 1 to 100.
So
120,000 is probably like $120.
no, wouldn't
No,
it be
1,000?
1,200?
Yeah, $1,200. Math. It's an expensive ring.
I mean, if it's got like precious stones and it's gold, I don't think it's that bad.
1,200 seems like a lot, but then again, I'm Pope.
Yeah, same.
もしかしてあなたもすられ
These are the type of stuff that I think
あのスリ師は
that populates the game and it really
なかな
has
か見つから
it
ない
out.
ん
A
です
lot
よ
of sort of
老人の
side
人が
questy stuff that is part of the main story, like now track down this pickpocket 3 different times, go back to the shop, and then go back here, and then go back there, and it's like it's just wacky enough that I'm engaged and curious where this thing is going, because the main character is so stoic, it's so serious. To see him interact with all the silliness, it's fun, it's funny,
Yeah.
and it's kind of like almost like they've centered us with this character, and they've thrown all of this kind of Japanese wackiness around it. It's interesting, especially because this is the game about Yakuza.
Right, this guy's like a murderer.
There are little things like your character was standing on top of he had 1 foot on the ground and 1 foot on a grate. The grate was slightly raised at an incline, and PS2 didn't have the best way of representing models. There were a lot of times you get clipping and things, and you know, characters would just raise above the ground in an awkward way. There's the clown character.
Yeah.
You can tell that they spent the time either in the original PS2 or in the remake here to take care to make sure that your character stands in the right place. That, you know, when you run by somebody, you don't just clip to the right or to the left. Like you actually bump into them, and there's like this, oh, excuse me, or you know, kind of like a scream. Your character gets tired if he runs too long. Like there's a lot of care taken to you inhabiting the space in a very real way. You feel like it's a real populated world. But I think part of that means that they had to limit your ability to really go places. They had to cut you off from things. And that also kind of stinks because you feel like, well, I feel like I can interact with things. I wish that I could go anywhere that I had the freedom.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he is a bit hidden. Typically he hides. Did you find him in the alley yet?
No.
He's on the ground behind a vending machine. He's kind of like crouched behind it. You could pass him very easily. So go back to the alley that the citizens were pointing you towards. I believe it's to the right.
I mean, you're on a delay, so to the right doesn't mean anything to me right now. Like,
Now to the left, now to the right, now go up and down.
right. I'm in an alley. I'm in a place called an alley right now.
I believe it's actually kind of a side shoot, like one of those gray sort of side shoots.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
おいお前盗んだ指輪を
バレたか
おいちょっと待て
It also is a bit silly that as Yakuza, like, this old man is evading you.
Right.
It's just a lot of silliness. It's fine. I enjoy the camping games, and it works well for this. But you do have to put yourself in a mindset of, like, you're not just playing this gritty crime drama. You're playing kind of like gritty crime drama plus plus. I don't know what else to say. It's just plus camp. So, normally we discuss the PlayStation's official description of the game. It's a bit spoilery.
Okay.
So I'm going to hold off because you're going to see a lot of it. But I will read the second portion of it. There's 2 paragraphs. I'll read the second paragraph to you. It says, in 2005, a legend was born on the PlayStation 2. Kazuma Kiryu, the Dragon of Dojima, made his video game debut in Yakuza. Now, 11 years after that release, a new generation of players will be able to experience the incomparable action and drama of the Yakuza series with the rebuild from scratch HD remake exclusive to PlayStation 4, Yakuza Kiwami. While you do that, this device's old man, I will tell you also that the Japanese title is Ryuga Gotoku Kiwami. That was a perfect pronunciation. Thank you. And that translates to like a dragon, extreme.
Okay.
So that is the Japanese title. Of course, they did not go for a translation when they did it to Western audiences. Here, it's just known as Yakuza, which of course is the Japanese mafia, and Kiwami, which still refers to extreme. So this version of Yakuza is called Yakuza Extreme. I really like that they kept kind of that extreme element to the remake. I think that's cute.
Right. Yeah.
But you know, like a dragon makes sense that they would let that go. It also has that kind of video game element of from the PlayStation 2 era. You finish collecting the guy or finding the guy, and then a cutscene goes, and then he disappears. You know, it's not like you watch him run. It doesn't make an actual physical sense. It's very video game. Like, why would your character lose track of him? Why would any of these things happen? Because it's a video game, and there's still that kind of old school mentality here. And, you know, we've played several remakes for this show. There's something that's very popular for PS Plus to do, is to give us, these popular remakes. And sometimes because a new game is coming, which is why there's a remake in the first place, because there's a new one coming, and it makes sense that it serves as a commercial for the new one that's coming. And I'm fine with that. We get these 3 games, and they're competent games, so that's fine. But what do you think about the proliferance of remakes in video gaming today? It feels like there's a ton of banking on nostalgia, and it's just not going away.
It's interesting. Nostalgia is a big thing these days, like trading on people's, nostalgia. And actually, there's this whole thing with Vaporwave, and how, like, Vaporwave is basically just, trading on nostalgia. And I don't know if you know anything about Vaporwave.
No, I don't. Please.
So Vaporwave is this music genre that is basically, it takes old songs, and it slows them down.
Okay.
And then it will add beats or other music to them. But basically the crux of it is it's like, they'll take a Whitney Houston song or whatever and just slow it way down so it's barely recognizable. and then they'll just add other music into it. And there's this whole thing about like just like the commodification of everything these days, and like I don't know, I don't really understand the like argument behind it, but there's this book called Vaporwave and the Commodification of Ghosts, and it's basically this whole thing about nostalgia and how things today are shitty because like everything is a remake, or it's like the new stuff is not original or whatever. And like, yeah, I can see that happening a lot in a lot of different ways in our culture, and it's like, you know, even so one of the things is that, for example, the 1980s really was nostalgic for the 1950s, and you see that in a lot of things that came out in the 80s. Happy Days, Back to the Future, yep. And you know, so it's like this whole, like, I think nostalgia is just like everyone wants it. Everyone wants to remember the quote unquote good old days, and like I don't know, I don't like it so much, and I don't really like for video games. I think it's a little bit different, because especially if they were like popular games, you know, they're bringing these out so that, you know, hopefully other people have the opportunity to play them. So that's maybe like a little bit different than just like hoping people will pay money to games that they've already played before. I don't know. But yeah, there's just this whole thing about nostalgia.
It's interesting because, you know, you've given a really interesting example of the type of nostalgia that we also see in gaming, which is that whole retro vibe we see in a lot of games, particularly indie games, where it's a throwback to the 8-bit, the 16-bit platformer, and they've got, you know, sort of those modern sensibilities of saving and things, but they're really old-school gaming experiences. And that, to me, really does feel like what you're talking about, this sort of nostalgia throwback of, remember this type of gaming. And sometimes they are fun. Sometimes they're really good games. And sometimes you could just tell this is just, you know, this is just another 8-bit game you get thrown out there because I'm supposed to remember and enjoy 8-bit games. That as opposed to something like this, which is a remaster, which is you know, kind of a re-release of something.
I've been at work all day and I'm trying to tap and move and stuff. I just haven't had a chance to respond. So. Yes, definitely.
No, I hear you. So that kind of a re-release and everything is its own thing.
Okay. Sorry, I had a phone call I had to take. Sorry about that.
That's okay. Life happens, and sometimes we can't work around it. So no worries.
it was my landlord, so it's kind of important.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway.
You good to keep going, or should we?
Yeah. She was just asking me if I was good for tomorrow night. So anyway.
No, but just to continue the conversation about nostalgia, we see it pop up in different ways, not just in the remake, but like you discussed, like this kind of throwback to almost a remix of what previous gaming or music or movies was.
Yeah.
And then we have the sequel. You know, the video game industry in particular is terrible about sequels, in that everything is a 3 or 4 or 6 or 7. You know, these games repeat themselves ad infinitum, and I think a lot of that is the reason that we see it in the movie industry, but times. In the movie industry, you know, there's a lot of money that gets put up front to make a movie, and you know, you want that to be a success. You want a guarantee of success as a producer, and so, you know, you throw your money behind a sequel because there's a certain guarantee of at least some sort of built-in audience. With video games, I feel like there's even more of a time commitment, and there's more of somewhat similar of a financial commitment. But the video game industry doesn't seem to be comfortable with deviating as much as Hollywood and movies do. At least with Hollywood and movies, you do get themes that repeat, and in video games, I think a lot of the major video games we see just simply are remakes and sequels.
Yes.
I mean, the top games of this year that I can think of are God of War, a remake, and a sequel, both. Spider-Man, which is using a known property. You know, it may be unique in the sense that it's not a sequel to a direct game, but you know, we all know Spider-Man. There have been Spider-Man games before, and what's another one that's recent?
Shinji.
Oh, Red Dead Redemption 2. Everyone's played Red Dead Redemption 2.
And didn't the beta of Fallout 76 just recently come out? Like, isn't that?
Yeah. I mean, I just feel like there's very little that's brand new. You know, when The Last of Us came out, everyone was saying, "Oh, it's a zombie game. We've seen a billion of those," and The Last of Us was applauded as sort of this new, fresh take on something that felt like a new game. But you know, we're getting The Last of Us 2 now. Like, this is a property that clearly will continue on.
Right.
Even though I really felt The Last of Us 1 felt like a complete experience. That's not to say I'm excited for it, because I'm sure it'll be a fine game, but just to say, you know, we don't often take risks on the new stuff.
そんなに慌てなくても。いや、あんたがとって。それでちゃんと指輪を調べた。
This quest on getting her ring is still continuing.
あ、お題は結構です。
I enjoyed the mechanic of forcing you into the shop menu to buy the ring, then to find out you don't have enough and get back out of it. Yeah, that was fun because not only was it a way of sort of tutorializing you on the shop mechanic, it also was a fun sort of in-game mechanic that directly tied into the story. I liked that a lot. There were a few times in games where we do that, where we have the mechanic doesn't quite work the way that we expect it to, and that plays into the story. I think that's clever, and I appreciate it.
ほら、ユミ。
Yeah.
プレゼントだ。
Pretty good.
Now we're watching Miss Shoulder Pads and Giant Hands get a birthday cake. I hope she did not ask for gloves.
いいのこれ本当にもらっちゃって。
当たり前だろ。
Like, here's the thing. This scene doesn't make any sense culturally to me. And I can't tell if it's just because this is not my culture, and I don't know, I have no context. Or that it's this video game translation of something which maybe is supposed to be corny or hokey or over the top, and that has then been translated to a Western audience, and thus it feels kind of uncanny. I can't tell, but this is not how a human birthday goes, is all I can tell you.
この指輪、カズマが私に。
おいおい。
He
なん
hands her
だ
a
よその
gift,
ダッセー
says,
指
"Here you
輪。
go."
安っちいデ
She
ザイン
opens
だ
the
な。
gift,
ほら
and she's like,
そういうこ
"Oh,
と
is
言
this
わ
for
ないの？
me? Like, this is for you. Like,
私
I
の
gave
名
you a
前が
gift
彫
on
って
your
ある。
birthday. Why would you think it's not for you?"
そんなことない。
I think that's definitely a cultural thing because I think, like, you know, Japanese people are meant to
あ
be
りがとう。
like
大
modest
事にす
and
る
like
ね。
not
Yeah.
or whatever. I don't know. I'm making
Yeah, so then that's just my cultural
そう
ignorance,
なんだ。
and that's just a fascinating sort of thing that I get to experience in a video game and kind of be bewildered by.
じゃあ何かプレゼントさせてや。例えば。
But I know because of the
指輪とかどう？
this game has a lot of camp to it as well, and you'll see that with
嬉しいけ
that
ど
one
それ
character
はちょ
with
っ
the
と。
shirtless and the who's being with the umbrella. Those elements are added on because I have no context. I can't tell what is meant to be sort of like a simile of real life and what's meant to be something that's over the top. And so for me, this birthday scene seemed just odd because I'm like, all I know is this is not my experience with birthdays in the Western culture, and I can't tell whether this is just, you know, a cultural difference or if this is just an odd scene that didn't translate in a way that made sense to me.
ごめんね。
Well, I also think that this little bit goes a little bit further to
俺らだって
explaining
お
that
客さんだぞ。
because she just said that she'd only want a ring from someone she loved,
Right.
and then she's like,
Okay.
"Oh,
私
this
の
is
誕
for
生日を
me."
どうしてくれるの？
Like you're,
え？
yeah.
さあな。
So you're saying this is more of a character misunderstanding
Yeah.
where she's
Yeah,
essentially
yeah,
asking him by asking him, is this for me? She's asking him, you know, do you love me?
Right,
なんだよ、
but
それ。
he's not aware of this
別にいいけ
conversation
ど
that
さ。
just happened, so he doesn't understand the significance, I think.
Okay. Also, that seems like she's assuming his level of knowledge, and that could be dangerous for her, but
Right.
okay, at least that makes sense to me, yeah.
So then we're back from a few months ago.
We're
back
You were
to-
in that scene for a long time.
Yes, and then, but they don't even say, like, they say the previous day, September 30th. It's the previous day from the first scene, so that's confusing, which makes it seem like that scene wasn't there. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah, I think we figured it out.
Yeah, I think you absolutely nailed it. But the fact that they did stick in the previous day, it is confusing. You have to think about it. You're like, wait, previous day from when?
Right.
Yeah, I agree. I think that entire segment was an add-on.
今何時だ
もう4時ね。そろそろ風間さんのところに行かないとダメなんじゃないの？
So then not even is it not the previous day
そろそろ
anymore?
行くよ
Oh,
お前はどう
it's
すんだ
now the 1st of October. He fell asleep.
少し開店の準備したら
At the bar?
お店閉めて外でお茶でも
Yeah, I
飲んでくる
guess.
わ。
Okay.
そういえば
Also,
ユミ
there was a wreath in the background which looked like a Christmas
もう
wreath.
少ししたら
Which
買い
makes
出し
very
済ま
little
せ
sense
て
in multiple
私と交
contexts,
代でお
but
店に
I
来る
did,
けど。
it did jump out at me. It's like it's supposed to be October 1st and there's a Christmas wreath
じ
there.
ゃあまた今夜軽く顔出すよ
But like,
わかった。
Christmas isn't
待ってる
really
ね
like, because Christmas is a Christian holiday and Japan is
Right.
not
So
Christian.
is it just
So I think they just don't
decorative or non?
understand. Yeah, I think it's just decorative. They don't understand the significance of it, maybe.
Right.
Yeah,
Or it has a different significance.
maybe.
You know, but this is fascinating because what this is for me, and I hope that for our audience knows, this is somebody who is completely ignorant in looking into this and trying to make sense of something with no context. Like it's as if this is my first time being introduced into an entire thing, and it's
Right.
fascinating, and it also makes the game very engaging because it's not that it's complete nonsense. It's that I don't understand the context, and I know there is context there. I want to know it.
Mm-hmm.
So, by the time I got to this point, I had sort of forgotten, like within so many flashbacks, I had forgotten my original goal. You had gotten the money from the deadbeat loan shark, and you're returning that to your boss. There's so many, like, you know, parentheticals within parentheticals that I got kind of lost in where I was with the story.
I know, it's like everything is.
A main feature of Yakuza games are the save points happening in between chapters, but also happening in phone boxes. In those phone boxes. Phone booths. And you can also trade items and then you can store items for later in those booths. Because this is a PS4 title, and that's not necessary to have this sort of like cordoned off place for saving, you can actually save the game at any time. So it's weird to me that they kept the phone booths because they don't really serve a purpose other than, I guess, the item stuff. But it just feels like one of these holdovers or something that is not needed anymore now the game is on PS4. You can also tell the game's introducing these elements that are not going to pay off yet, like the introduction of that journalist. It's like, okay, why did you pause me for that? And the reason is because they come back much further in the story, like 10 years later in the story. But it does feel like the game is going, oh yeah, we have to introduce this as well. Here, and I'm going to introduce this here. It doesn't feel like the narrative flows, just here's a bunch of stuff.
また無茶したんじゃないだろうな。いえ。カズマ、お前が無茶すりゃ下の連中は歯止めが効かなくなる。もともと暴れたいってやつらの集まりなんだからな。
桐生なら大丈夫ですよ。分別のある男です。それにな、親父だって昔は東上界一の殺し屋っつって。
柏木。
No.
すいません。
You kept dying over and over again trying to escape from a house. It was where.
Yep.
Okay.
And then I
You just got it
I
back.
got over the fence and almost to the car and I died.
しかし
Yeah,
文字通りの
you
子
were
供だったお前
infuriated and
に
you
組を
then
任せ
deleted
る
it
日
from your
が
memory
来る
apparently.
おやっさんがいなけりゃ
So
今の
Mafia
は
3, I think, would be the closest game that we've played to this. And of course, it would be the westernized version of this. And in fact, some people suggest that Mafia is not only influenced from the obvious Grand Theft Auto, but that Yakuza also had some influences because you were steeped in the mob family, and that's obviously something that's
たま
happening
には
here.
言ってやれあそこの孤児院はお前たちのふる
The
さと
thing
みたいな
about
もんだ
Mafia, though, was that
Oh.
none of the
失礼します
killing
桐生さんにお
or the
電話が
missions really
シンさん
made
からです
sense to me. It was like, yeah, go to this house. And there's gonna be all these dudes that are trying to kill you. So
俺だ
like all of a sudden, it was like, oh yep, you're dead now. Cool.
It felt like a television show, right? Where in
Yeah.
the first episode of the show, they say to you, hey, you're going to become the king of the mafia by the end of this season. But in the meantime, we've got 6 filler episodes for you to do. Go here, fight these people. It doesn't really matter if it contributes to the main narrative, but do these 6 episodes, and you'll have a little bit of an arc in here for every once in a while. But mainly, this is just filling in the time. Mafia
弓を
feels
強
like
引に
this.
連れ去ったらしいんです
This does not feel like that. It really feels like everything you do is progressing the story, even in a weird sideways way. It is all connected in a way.
そこに錦山が入っていったら
I think it makes
何が
Yakuza
起
a
こって
better
もお
game
かしくない
narratively,
俺
if not
行って
silly.
きます
よせ
え
ここでお前まで行ったら3人ともただじゃ済まねえぞ
But you could tell you're in cutscenes a lot in this
せめて
game.
俺が手を回すまでお前は待て
Yeah.
Mafia 3, not so much. Mafia 3 is a lot of like, now drive all the way across Harlem? Where were you in Mafia 3? Louisiana, right? Louisiana?
今俺が行かねえと
Drive all the way across the city, and maybe we'll talk to you a little bit, while you're in the car. And here it's like, no, put your controller down, go make yourself a sandwich, come back. We're doing a story right now.
Well, and that's the other thing with Mafia 3. Isn't that the one where they were like trying to combine all the like different timeline narratives with like people being interviewed or whatever, and like
Yes.
stuck in it. I was so confused. This one, at least, I can
Yes.
understand that. Like it is a little bit confusing, but I can understand what time I'm in.
Sometimes with cutscenes and things like this in games, sometimes my visual attention gets distracted. I like to check my phone, stuff like that. Listen to it. You can't do that with this game if you don't speak Japanese because you have to read everything.
Right.
So that was something that kind of became obvious to me real quick. I was like, oh, I can't play this the way that I did. However, this is a fantastic game to listen to podcasts to because, again, the audio is really just for kind of tone. Everything else is just reading. It also means that I'm more likely to skip the dialogue in this game than other games. Because a lot of the times I like to really hear the way a voice actor presents something because I like to hear the tone and get a little bit different the way I would have done in my head. Here, I'm already translating it anyway, so it's not like I'm missing that much by just
今急いで
reading the dialogue and reading. I get the gist of it, so
腕っぷしの
I
生きて
moved
帰れると思うな
quickly through this because I ended up skipping a lot of dialogue. I read it and move on, read it and move on. I'm a quick reader. So I had to pad it a little bit in figuring out when you would the character because I realized, oh shit, I skipped so far ahead. I think time-wise. So I think I've gotten it good. You're progressing at a good pace, and I think you're almost there. So, but I did have to sort of do some quick mental math to figure that out. Also, fighting games happen to have like a kind of static 2D audience in the background, sort of cheering along, and it's here in this game too. It's such an odd thing to see these elements in this game. I love it because it makes no sense. It makes no sense that this man would be cheering on the Yakuza and like a battle in the street. But I'm all for it. It's very cool. Also, the fact that it hasn't transported you into a battlefield or an arena. You're in the same open world that you were before. All of those tones and everything were there before, and they're now interactable. Like, that is nice that they plan ahead for combat to be in the same space.
Yeah, that's good.
I mean, granted, you know, you're locked into this one location, and all of these NPCs are now surrounding you, and they weren't there before. Yeah, there's a little bit of a video game magic happening, but, you know, it doesn't feel like you're in a completely different thing.
Eh? Huh?
Yumi! Nishiki! 錦堂島組長
桐生
And finally, we are full circling to
組長が
Yeah.
趣味を無理やりだから撃っちまったんだカッとなっちまって何発も
弓おいしっかりしろ
やっちまった東商会の大幹部を
錦弓を連れて逃げろ
何言ってんだおめえこそ弓連れて逃げろ
お前がいなくなったら妹はどうなるんだ次の手術が最後なんだろうそんな時お前がいねえで誰がいてやるんだだからお前はここにいちゃいけねえんだ
でもお前は
行け錦弓を頼む
桐生は
行け
I mean, you know, what can I say about the scene? PS2 era.
Yeah.
This feels like, here, take this object from this room.
Right.
The motivation for our plot. Okay.
Yakuza! ふざけるな俺がやった金の
I'm
こと
also
で
not 100% wanting
組
to
長
do
と
this.
揉めて
Like, I think that scene that was added was supposed to make us feel a sense of bonding between the two characters. Again, assuming that's the scene that was added. But it still doesn't quite add up to me like,
奴はこれ
why
から
would
組
he
元って
automatically
男なん
get
ですよ
caught? Why would
こん
you
な
two
殺し屋るわ
not
けね
try to hide
え
this?
誰かをかばってるんです
Or
これはヤクザの構想だ誰がやったかは問題じゃない
why is you taking the
迅
fall
速
for
な
this
事件の解決
necessarily
それが今
the
求め
better
られる
course
全
of
て
action? It's not like there's anything other than just sacrificing him because you're his friend.
刑事さん
He still did this
俺の
thing
持ち物の中に指輪があります
in this organization that you're part of.
若頭の風間に渡してくれませんか
I don't know. I mean, not that they're trying to motivate it with Yumi is helpless and you know, he was protecting her, but it just feels kind of like
分かっ
weak
てま
to
す
me.
約束はしねえぞはい
I love that nobody ever changes clothes.
囚人番号1240面会だ。
俺は破門でいいのか、シンジ。
はい。
自分の親殺したんだ。絶縁なんじゃねえのか。
東上会三代目世良会長が破門にすると決めたそうです。
どういうことだ。
自分にも分か
I
り
think
ませ
it's
ん。
weird that in subtitle what was written on the
風間の親さんが
package.
この破門状を兄貴に渡すようにと。
堂島組はどうなるんだ。
風間の親さんが引き継ぐそうです。
そうか。
時間だ。
Also, I want to point out that you've been in jail supposedly for some period of time, and that's the same outfit that I kid was wearing. Kind of.
事件の次の日からユミさん記憶をなくしてたんです。錦のおじきや兄貴のことも。で急に病院から姿を。すいません、風間の親さんには口止めされてたんですけど。
おい、時間だ。
誰かちゃんと探してるのか。
はい、錦のおじきや風間の親さんが。
聞こえんのか。
シンジ、弓を頼むぞ。錦にもそう伝えてくれ。
はい、わかりました。
てめえ、なんだその態度は。ああ、
そこ何やってるか。
なんだよ、話せこの野郎。
うるさい、来い。
やれろか。
たく物騒でいけねえな。おっと、こちらさんも物騒な面してら。
So ultra violent.
なあ、あんただろ。自分の親分殺したってヤクザ。
黙って食ってろ。
さすが貫禄だね。堂島の竜、堂島組射程頭補佐桐生一馬。
何やってんだよお前ら。
東上会の幹部やったんだ。こんくらい想像してたろ。堂島組長があの世で寂しいとさ。
So we did another fight scene here.
Oh man. Fort.
How do you do something with force? I don't know if you've noticed, but the game is very responsive to your environment. In the battle scene, you go through special moves, and you're kind of glowing right now with these finishers. But you know, you throw him against the tables, you throw him against the ground. Like, they do a really good job of recognizing the environment and really scripting it depending on where you are. And that's another thing that Yakuza really helped me to. Bam, that is the extreme move.
誰の命令だ。
世良会長
I really thought you were gonna like rip his face off.
登場
Like,
会三代目だ。なんだと。
after you
Dink. It's like tink. Trophy earned. Things will never be the same.
because you have just gotten the trophy challenge of the game. You did the thing. Congratulations on doing the thing. So let's talk a little bit now that you have completed the trophy that I've asked you to do with end game content. You're now 10 years in the future. A lot of this is introducing sort of the main antagonism. Your friend is now in charge of the Yakuza. You are sort of going to have to regain your rank. You've lost all of that power. You have to regain all of your abilities and everything. It's fascinating, but you definitely have a grasp of what the gameplay is. I mean, there's this sort of drama of Yakuza gone wrong, and you being sort of this relatively good person within the Yakuza and trying to protect this woman who you have supposedly lost. So, you have played the game. You've gotten the trophy. It's time for a segment we're calling the Metacritic Review Game. How do you play, you ask? Well, I'll tell you. Stop asking. Let me just read it, okay? First, you give me what you would rate the game out of 100 and why. And then I'll read you the highest and lowest critic ratings without the numbers they were assigned. Then you'll tell me what you think your score will be higher or lower than the Metacritic average. And finally, we'll reveal if you went higher or lower. Are you ready to critique?
Yes.
Yes, I am. Well, then get to it.
Okay. So I give this game. Personally, I give this game a 70.
A 70?
Yeah. Because the fighting is cool. I enjoy it. I liked the little, side questy things that progressed the story. Didn't feel too side questy. The map was confusing because it was backwards, but I think you can switch that in the control. But I don't really... I think it's like we were saying, the cultural stuff that I don't really understand. It just feels very, I'm not very interested in it.
Yeah. This scene where he slaps her and he's yelling, and his yelling looks weird, like his mouth opens too big. And clearly they're setting him up to be the villain here with his giant hands.
I know, and when she was down on the floor, her hands were huge. She's down there crying, and her hands are just spread out on the floor.
I mean, Japanese people have regular sized hands, right?
I think so. But yeah, I like the fighting style. I just don't think it's very, fun. I guess.
It's an important element to a game. Did you find the mechanics too repetitive or not engaging enough?
No, I think the fighting is fine. I enjoyed the fighting parts. I just think the rest of the story is too... I don't know. Something about the story, I'm just not into it. I mean, I guess it's a game about, the Japanese mafia, so clearly it's gonna be a downer. And maybe I'm just not in the mood for a downer right now, but
when I was playing and I got to the side quest with the ring and getting the homeless guy, I was amused because it seemed so silly.
Right.
But at the end of the chapter, when I realized that I'd only gotten as far as the killing of the patriarch, I really felt like I haven't really done much. I haven't really accomplished much of anything. And I feel like you've spent all this time sort of showing me how to play, and you haven't actually let me loose yet. And it doesn't feel like what a first chapter should be. I think that's part of why I complained a little bit about the first trophy, because it felt like, why don't you cordon me off into a true tutorial session, and then let me explore the world?
Yeah, I think that that's some of it. There's not really an opportunity to just go out and like run around. Because like you like when I was doing like the get the ring back mission, and I tried to run in one direction and it wasn't the correct direction, I got a prompt that was like, "There's no reason to go this way right now," and I'm like, well. I know I'm like in the middle of a story, but like any other game would just let me like run around like a crazy person until I figured it out. But like you're very much directing me to where I need to go, which is cool. I'm glad it does that because sometimes I get confused, but at the same time, just like give me a heads up, put a little ding on the map, and let me be a chicken with my head cut off for a little bit. Like, just let me have it.
And whether that's a holdover from the fact that this is a game from the PS2 era, and you know, while they focused on having your ability to do a lot within a limited space, the reality is that it's a limited space.
Right.
Or whether it's just, you know, this game is not truly open world, and it's much more, you know, so going your path with the illusion that it's open world, and that's just the way this game was decided. Either way, it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good to know that you're being limited in that way. You can see the seams of the video game.
Yeah, so I gave it
okay,
a
so you landed at 70. Cool. Metacritic, the highest rating. This is the same character, by the way, made all evil.
Yeah.
The highest rating, here's what they said. From Gaming Age, they said the following. I think Yakuza Kiwami and the original game in general had one of the best Yakuza plots in the series, and that holds true even today. The sole focus on Kazuma as the protagonist makes for a more focused adventure than Yakuza 4 and 5. It's nice to see how Kazuma builds his reputation as the Dragon of Dojima with this game. I'm also a sucker for betrayal/revenge plots, and the original Yakuza has one of the best in all of video games. So do yourself a favor and pick up Yakuza Kiwami when it releases on August 29th. It's certainly not a game to miss.
Okay. Yeah.
We read a lot of reviews on the show, and I would say that's probably one of the most glowing reviews I've ever read.
Yes, it's also probably one of the most thorough. Because, like, I know on Metacritic, they're just like, when you get the review, they just give you, like, the blurby bit, and it's like, you get, like, not even a complete sentence, and you're like,
Yeah, it's hard to tell.
Yeah.
Well, the same is true for the low. Here's what Push Square had to say. Yakuza Kiwami finds itself in a strange position. A remake that's technically a sequel to a much better game in Yakuza 0. It struggles to offer anything besides another engaging crime drama storyline. Best described as a kind of expansion, Kiwami really shows its age in terms of narrative structure and gameplay design, but it's still worth playing through if you just can't get enough of Kaz. It goes without saying, however, that series newcomers are much better starting off with the far superior Yakuza 0.
Interesting.
So based on those two reviews, without giving you the scores, what do you think? Where do you think Metacritic landed on average? And do you think you went higher or lower?
I think I went lower than whatever their average was. I mean, those... Yeah. That first review was just like, this game is the perfect game. Okay, bye.
Well, you nailed it. They did say that game was the perfect game. That first critic review was at 100, which made the average for the Metacritic score at a high 80.
Wow.
Yeah.
I
So
mean,
10
80,
points higher, so...
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely see this being an 80, like, once I maybe get into the gameplay or whatever. See, that's the problem we have. We have such a short amount of time to really just, like, you know, really it's just the tutorials or whatever that we get through, so... You know, I get the mechanics of it, but I don't really get a good idea of, like, what it's all about, you know?
Yeah. And that's true. And as a huge caveat, you know, we're not professional reviewers.
No.
We have not played enough of this game to really give it a review.
Right.
That's more of sort of the fun of trying to see, just based on the snippet, as, you know, where have the critics sort of landed on this one.
Yeah.
What we are trying to do here is to determine, based on a short period of time, is this game going to be worth your time to download if you're a PS Plus subscriber and you don't necessarily have all the free time in the world to play everything. So that part of the show is the one we like to call, is it worth downloading? And here's some data that we also need to keep in mind that we haven't discussed already in the show.
Okay.
From howlongtobeat.com, the typical time sink you would put into this game to complete the main storyline is 17.5 hours. If you're looking
Oh.
to do the main storyline and all the extra little side questy things, you're looking at closer to 32 and a half hours. And if you wanted to get that trophy, that platinum trophy, complete everything the game has to offer, you're looking at a total of 88 hours.
Okay.
The download space for this game requires an initial 20.34 gigabytes as before any saving, and the regular price on the PlayStation Network today, without the PS Plus, is $19.99. With all that data and the gameplay that we've done before, what do you think? Is this worth an actual download onto the PlayStation, or is it worth a skip or a more rainy day?
No, I definitely think this one's worth trying out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
okay, 20 gigs, that's like more than I would like, but it's only 17 hours to do the main story. That's not bad, actually. I thought it would be longer.
Yeah. And it's significant. I mean, 17 hours is not, like a tiny little experience. It's certainly enough to engage yourself for a month before the next big thing comes out on PS Plus. If you've got nothing else that you're backlogging on, I agree with you. I think this is worth it.
I think, and I mean, it's only $20 originally, right? If you're not a PS Plus member right now and can get it for free. So I feel like even $20 is not bad for this, like, really nice looking remake of a game. Like, I wouldn't pay because obviously I got it for free just now, but like, if you're looking for a game that's sort of like a crossbreed between a fighting game and, like, I don't know, a Grand Theft Auto type thing, like, yeah, go for it.
Yeah. And as the progenitor of the series, it's sort of a fun thing to go back to and really see what started this entire thing, and to see if even the other games would be worth playing.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
Yeah. So cool. Anything else you'd like to discuss related to Yakuza Kiwami?
No, I think everything that I've wanted to say, I have definitely said.
We'll send it off to the Library of Congress.
Cool, let's do that.
I do want to say, I have been thinking, it's hard to sometimes come up with how to describe this show to new viewers. What sort of kind of catchphrase or simple phrase to really kind of elevator pitch this show. And I've been thinking a lot about it, really viewing about it, and I want to run one by you. Normally we do this off camera, but you've got some extra minutes. So what do you think of this? 2 gamers, 1 trophy, like a dragon, extreme. Where can people find us for more content, and what are we up to this week?
Well, for more content, you can watch all of the episodes of 2 Gamers 1 Trophy back catalog at YouTube. Just look up 2 Gamers 1 Trophy. That's the number 2 and the number 1. As far as what we're up to this week, I have been, this whole month, been trying to, like, get moving into a new house situated, so I've been crazy busy. I'm not doing anything other than, like, sleeping and eating. What about you?
No, it's exciting. And listen, you got to pack up that PlayStation 4 real careful.
Yeah.
Get this new place, find where the chi is correct for it. It's big stuff.
Yeah.
I received a package in the mail today. A friend of mine sent me a rather unexpected gift. I will be playing probably for the next week the God of War remake.
Nice.
Yeah, so I'm pretty excited about that. I'm sure super healthy father-son relationship.
Right, yeah.
Cool. Thank you, everyone, for watching, commenting, and otherwise interacting with us. It is a delight to share the world of PS Plus with everyone, except for you. You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And a quick thank you for all of our little music provided by Steelhair. You can find more of his work on Spotify. Next Thursday, we're playing Bulletstorm. Join us live here on Twitch Thursdays, 7 p.m. Eastern Time.
Cool. We're going to have a storm of bullets next week.
It's the best kind of storm.
It's the only kind of storm. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Patently not true. We have Sharknadoes, Lauren.
Oh, how could I say that?
かな
Yes. All right. We'll see you next week. Bye.